email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I got a little bit of a celebration today. It is National Strawberry Shortcake Day. National Strawberry Shortcake Day. Extra whipped cream, please. And we are watching the markets as well. They are going a little bit south right now. Once again, the Dow Jones, as I'm speaking to you, down 111 points. Oil down 57 cents per barrel. We're looking at the 10-year Treasury down a little bit further. It's down at 1.601 as we speak. And the German 10-year bond giving you less money back when you reborrow. That's kind of an interesting scenario. We don't see that too often where you're getting a negative rate of return, a negative rate of return. What does that mean? When you're hearing that in the news, it means those people especially, and who are those people? I mean, it's always easy to say those people. But those people are the people that are invested. Mainly it's going to be seniors. They're the ones that get hit the worst from these types of things. So it's our seniors that put their money into these fixed rate investment vehicles. And they're the ones that are not even getting their money back. So you put $1,000 in, you get less than $1,000 back when you're invested in something with negative rate of return. That is not good news right now when you're talking about seniors because they're the ones that are living on the fixed income. The only thing that we can say, well, I guess we're in California, so we really can't say that even as much. $2.37.3 a gallon national average for gasoline. But here we are in the state of confusion. We are significantly higher than that. We're in the top range. California, $2.863 per gallon. Just about 50 cents a gallon more than 50 cents a gallon more than the national average here in California. And we are, again, leading the country, the highest priced gas in the United States. That is what we see here in the state of confusion. Let's keep voting for the same way. Probably makes a lot of sense. And I get people talk to me all the time, Ron, why do you get so political? Because I'm a political junkie. If you watch the show information that we post online, Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, you'll see that I am a self-proclaimed political junkie. Watching that, chatting with you about that on a regular basis. I follow the news, personal and business finance as well. Personal finance, Freddie Mac rate came out at the end of last week. 30-year fixed rate loans from Freddie Mac, 3.60 is the rate, the Freddie Mac rate on a 30-year fixed rate loan. Does that mean you get that rate? Well, maybe not. It just depends on if you qualify, who your lender is, a lot of different factors. If you want me to put you in touch with a great lender, VIP Mortgage, obviously I endorse them wholeheartedly. I'll put you in touch with them. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. May import prices rose 1.4%, coming in higher than the estimate for an increase of 0.7%. Export prices rose by 1.1% as well. So we're seeing that going on in the marketplace. Retail sales came in very close to expectations, so they didn't cause a whole lot of reaction in the market. May retail sales increased by 0.5%. Now, remember that the consumer is 70% of GDP. So if retail sales went up by 0.5% in April, what is that telling you about our GDP? That's going to be 70% of the number, so it's probably not going to be a great number. We did see that. That's the May number, I'm sorry. The only good part about it is April was a good number, and this kind of followed through. So that was encouraging right there. Speaking of politics, and I get into this fun stuff all the time, I could not help but see the humor from Hillary Clinton. I just love looking at some of these things with some of these people. Hillary Clinton came out, and she's talking yesterday about the assault guns, which that was not in Orlando. It was not an assault gun. It was a semi-automatic weapon. So there is a difference there. I wish Mrs. Clinton would understand that. Apparently she has trouble with that as well as many other things. But she wants to understand how it is that a person who is under investigation with the FBI can get approved for a weapon, to buy a gun. Now, the reason I find the humor there is I'd like to know, under the same thought process that Mrs. Clinton offered yesterday, how does a person under investigation by the FBI get on the ballot to be president of the United States? Now, she says no guns for people under investigation by the FBI. How about nuclear weapons and codes for nuclear weapons and sending an army or a military into action? Doesn't that kind of carry the same thought process that Mrs. Clinton had? Just kind of curious there how where she differentiates her commentary on from one topic to the next. Oh yeah, it's politics and it's the Clintons, so it doesn't count when you're a Clinton. They just get to go by their own rules. They do whatever they want. I did see another article in the news that was a very, very exciting article to me. I love this one. The 8th Circuit of Appeals, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, overturned the verdict against the estate of Chris Kyle. It was Jesse Ventura, my opinion, slimeball. He might sue me, I guess, I'd give him my opinion. But the Court of Appeals there says that the estate of Chris Kyle, they threw out the $1.8 million in damages awarded to the former Minnesota governor. Slimeball. Unbelievable. So Chris Kyle, as you know, one of the most decorated Navy SEAL snipers in the history of our country. Jesse Ventura felt that he was a big man in going and suing the estate of Mr. Kyle. Now Chris Kyle died while trying to help another retired veteran, and that retired veteran shot and killed him when they were working together trying to get this other gentleman some help and get him back on his feet. True patriot in every sense of the word, unlike Jesse Ventura. Unbelievable that guy even... I don't know what's with the people of Minnesota. I mean, they even allow him to be in that state. I wouldn't even want to... Even in a state of confusion, I think we might even have a problem with Jesse Ventura. Maybe not. Because in the state of confusion, yes, indeed, we do like to let our criminals walk the street. Not saying that Jesse Ventura is a criminal. That I did not say. But Prop 47. Now, every law enforcement person that I speak to, and I get the opportunity of speaking to quite a few, but every law enforcement person I speak to tells me Prop 47 is creating more and more problems, more and more crime on our streets. And our legislature, they don't want to do anything about removing this Prop 47 issue. Interesting. Democrats resist fighting Prop 47 crime wave. Think about this one, and this is where it's going to affect you. This will affect you is because there are different issues here where we're talking about just at Walmart alone, and I know that Walmart's not a big favorite. Millions of people shop there every day, but not a big fan favorite. But Walmart alone, they've seen their shoplifting increase. We see that people are allowed out of... Here's the number on shoplifting. Major retailers, maybe not just Walmart. Shoplifting has gone up 15 to 50%. 15 to 50% since the Prop 47 issues. Think about that one, and when they have to start raising your prices to cover shoplifting, what are you going to say then? I would suggest you say that you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, U.S. housing market swings in favor of home ownership. We will chat things to consider when buying a house. Americans aged 45 to 54 have the highest credit card debts. What are the average household debts? And we're going to chat about all of that. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, at Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1, on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates. and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. The area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. When you do want the true equity position of your home, the real estate professionals will have that number for you. We'll be able to calculate it for you. Takes a little bit of a conversation with you. It's not very in-depth, but you just need to text PEAR, Professional Equity Analysis Review, PAIR, to 79564. PAIR, PEAR, to 79564. One of the real estate professionals will reach out to you. The U.S. housing market swings in favor of home ownership. A recent report coming out from Baracha, Hardin, and Johnson. It's their buy versus rent index. Home ownership is a better way to produce greater wealth on average than renting, according to the report. The results from the first quarter index showed that 16 of the 23 metropolitan markets investigated moved in the direction of buy territory, according to this report. Again, the BH&J Index is a quarterly report that attempts to answer the question, is it better to buy or rent a home in today's market? And I will quote right from the report. The U.S. housing market, when considered as a whole, has swung marginally more in favor of home ownership over renting a comparable property and investing monthly rent savings in a portfolio of stocks and bonds, unquote. The latest results were released shortly after the S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which reported that home prices had climbed 5.4% nationally since March of 2015. Think about that number alone. 5.4% nationally since March of 2015. Generally, in the state of California, our prices increase quicker, or they're going to go up more than they are nationally. We're generally on the higher end of that spectrum. I think most real estate professionals will tell you the same thing. So at 5.4%, think about that. If you did a 90% loan, that means your property, the appreciation or the return on your cash, I'm going to use these terms properly because we don't want to mislead anybody, but the return on cash, your property probably went up 90, you're going to get, let's just do a little bit of math here. $100,000 home, just say for instance, and I know that we're not going to find $100,000 homes in the state of California, but you can just use that as a hypothetical. If your property is $500,000, multiply my numbers times 5. So you have a 5.4% appreciation. That means that property went up $5,400. Now, if you did 10% down, that means you put $10,000 down. That is a 54% return on your money, on your dollars invested. 54% return on those dollars invested. Where else are you going to get that kind of appreciation? Think about that. The real estate economist and professor at Florida Atlantic University, Ken Johnson, he's one of the index's authors. His comment was, this growth appears to be driven by a steady but strengthening job market, rising rents relative to rising ownership costs, and recent slower growth in traditional financial portfolios consisting of stocks and bonds. Have we been talking about that at all lately, where you have to really be careful of what you're doing with your stock and bond portfolio? I'm just going to look at a 12-month chart here real quick. And we're looking at 12 months ago, the stock market, as represented by Dow Jones Industrial Average, was at 17,791. 17,791. Today it's at 17,653. So that's very, very little. That's about less than 1% growth in the Dow Jones in the last year, whereas this report, again, it's not exactly the same dates, suggesting a 5.4% growth in real estate. In the Dow Jones, you only get one for one. There's no leverage when you're buying the Dow Jones for the most part. In real estate, you've got that leverage depending upon how much money you put down. So think about that concept and the volatility. Holy cow, real estate, it went up 5.4% this last year. The Dow Jones was down as low as 15,666. 15,666. Actually, 15,660 in January. 15,660 in January. So think about that concept as far as volatility as well. Your real estate, again, I'm hoping that you're not selling either one of them when you're talking about these type of investments, long-term investments. My thoughts are that you just got to really look seriously at real estate. It's a big, big issue. Dallas and Denver are two of the major cities that continue to move deeper into rent territory, but they moved at a slower rate than they had in previous quarters. Johnson believes that in these two markets, strong economic support should make for a soft landing in terms of slowing property price growth, increased marketing time for properties. Here's the bottom line. Buying a home makes sense socially and financially. Rents are going to continue to go up is the prediction. So lock in your housing costs right away. And I was sharing with you a little bit earlier just the concept that the Freddie Mac average for 30-year fixed rate loan is 3.6%. That was the latest number from Freddie Mac, 3.6%. So when you're thinking about buying versus renting, a 30-year fixed-rate loan, again, Freddie Mac, 3.6%, that number is not going to change. Your rent, your mortgage will not change. If you are renting over the next 30 years, I would be willing to predict, to forecast, that the rents on a similar property are going to increase over the next 30 years. How much? I don't know. Right now they're talking about 8.3% increase in rents. My suggestion is be careful. Go and look into buying a home. And that's why I decided that today our topic, our focus for today's broadcast, might be a bit about things to consider when buying a home. And I'm going to suggest to you that prices are going to continue to go up. I really believe that, just like we saw 5.4% nationally over the last 12 months, CoreLogic's latest home price index reports that home prices continue to rise. The Pulsenomics numbers that came out, the home expectation survey, over 100 different economists and industry professionals, forecasters, they're all talking about the idea that real estate will continue to grow. Why do I think real estate will continue to grow? It's very, very simple. We've been in this period for the last 5 or 6 years where people have not been comfortable with buying a home. They have not felt like they have enough equity to sell what they have today and buy a home. The length of time people are staying in their homes has increased by about 50% since the year 2000. The amount of time people stay in their home increased by about 50% since the year 2000. Is that because people want to be staying in their home that long? Or is it because people believe they have to? I suggest the latter. People believe they have to. They don't believe there's an option. Now, as we're getting the word out that there is appreciation in real estate, People are realizing that, you know something? Maybe I can move to that bigger house. Maybe I can move closer to work. Maybe I can move out to the desert or to the beach or to that retirement home that I want. Mortgage interest rates, they are very, very low. We've talked about that. That's another reason people are looking to buy right now. Mortgage interest rates, they've got to go up. They can't stay this low forever. And I know I've been saying that for a couple of years now, but at some point in time, our economy will get better. Might take a new administration. Actually, we're going to have definitely a new administration in Washington, D.C. I don't know whether it will be a Hillary Clinton administration or a Donald Trump administration. One of those two is likely to be our next president. So there will be changes. Mortgage interest rates probably going to go up. They're right now, again, Freddie Mac 3.6%. If you're looking at an FHA loan, it may be a little bit lower than that for you, but then you've got the mortgage insurance to deal with. Either way, you are paying a mortgage, somebody's mortgage. You're paying a mortgage. We're going to continue our conversation on this when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We're going to talk more about things to consider when buying a home. Average household debts top $90,000. You can reach me anytime. Call the off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Are you ready to overcome your biggest blocks with money and time? Your solution, Big Profits Now World Summit. The best skills and strategies to double and triple your business profits without doubling or tripling the work. This summit has gathered 24 experts specializing in business growth. It's a free online event that's happening now. Go immediately to claim your free ticket at BigProfitsNowLive.com. Enter your name and email and receive these free video interviews directly to your inbox. Again, that's BigProfitsNowLive.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value. Refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Word on Wealth segment today being brought to you by the area trusted professionals. That would be your household board of directors. Your household board of directors. Yes, indeed. They are the ones that are going to help you make sense of what's going on in the future. Think about this. Every major corporation that we know of has a board of directors. Every single one of them. Why do you think that you don't, and that's basically, they're not there doing the day-to-day work of the business. They're there as in an advisory role for the business. So if they're there for the advisory role, why do you think that it would not be beneficial for you to have someone similar, something similar, to help you in your role in your business? Think about that concept. So if that is the case, and I suggest it is the case, think just the logic here, okay? You need to know people, and they need to be on your team. They need to be ready to help you whenever the time comes up. That doesn't mean that it's any good if you haven't talked to them and they're not on board with you, if they don't know your situation. Real estate professionals, CPA, tax planners, estate planning attorney, insurance people, mortgage maybe, reverse mortgage maybe. Whole host of people that are out there to help you out and give you some guidance, the guidance that you need, the guidance that you deserve. So if that is the case, I suggest it is the case, then text ATP, Area Trusted Professional, ATP, to 79564 and fill out a short survey. It's a very, very short survey, and we will put you in touch with folks that are prepared to help you get you the information that you need. Average household debt right now, $90,000. And think about that. I'm going to suggest that doesn't even count your mortgage, $90,000. Student loans, $48,000. Auto loan, $27,000. Credit cards, $15,672. $762. Yeah, that's just round them off. What the heck? So that is the debt we're looking at right now. Now, I am not a big proponent of running up this kind of debt. We've talked about that before. We've talked about especially the student loan debt. That's the scary one that I really worry about, is because there's new guidelines changing, and it's making it harder and harder for individuals to buy a new home. Our young people, it's harder and harder for them to buy a new home because the lending guidelines are changing. They're going to make it harder for people with student loan debt to get a new home. And when you think about $48,000 in student loan debt, how long does it take to pay that off? And what kind of income do you have to pay that off? Think about that, because you're not getting a write-off from it. So maybe the solution, and I'm just going to go out there on a limb and share this with you, maybe the solution, especially because a lot of the student loan debt that I see is coming in 6%, 7%, right in that range. Maybe the solution is get yourself into a piece of real estate as quickly as you can. Then you might be able to roll that debt into a lower priced loan at some point in time. I can't promise that the loans are going to be cheaper. I don't even know what they're going to be tomorrow. I kind of guess, I forecast, I believe that interest rates are continuing to drop. But my suggestion to you is that you've got to be planning. A lot of the concepts that I chat about have a lot to do with planning and understanding where you want to get, how you're going to get there. Think about this. If you went into a mall, and I'm not a big mall guy, but I think they still have those kiosks inside the malls as you walk in, and it's got a sign there, a map on there, and it tells you where all the different stores are and how to get to them. But if you don't know where you are or where you want to go, is that going to do you any good? No, you got to know where you are. You got to know where you want to go. You got to plan. So that's why we chat about your household board of directors, and that's why you can simply text ATP, Area Trusted Professional, to 79564. One of the real estate professionals will reach out to you and help you out there. So it's just a short survey. You tell us who it is that you believe you need on your household board of directors. Is it an insurance person, a CPA, a tax planner, financial planner, helping you with your retirement planning, real estate, 401k, IRA, all these different people. They're estate planning attorneys. They're all there. Again, text ATP 79564. The Word on Wealth segment. So we're getting back to our things to consider when buying a home. We're chatting a little bit about the reasons to buy a home right away. And last thing I dropped off with was either way you're paying a mortgage. The big question is, do you want to pay your mortgage or somebody else's mortgage? I am going to suggest to you that you're better off paying yours. Why in the world would you want to pay somebody else's mortgage? If you want to, just give me a call, 800-306-1990. I would be happy to have you pay my mortgage for me. I don't think that's really what you want to be doing, though. And that's what rent is. That is exactly what rent is paying somebody else's mortgage. Think about that. You got to pay for housing anyway. So I'm just going to use a round number because it's close in Southern California, $2,000 a month. When you think about that, if you're in a property for 5 years, and right now in our housing, we're keeping our homes for 9 years, but I'm just going to say 5 years. Are you aware that for 5 years you are talking about a rent at $2,000 a month for $120,000? Just going straight out the door, burn it. Burn it. You're getting no value for it. Now, go and buy a piece of property and spend the same $2,000 a month, and I would suggest you use the after-the-tax benefit price at $2,000. So that means you're really being able to buy something at $2,500, $2,800, I don't know your tax bracket, and you should consult with a tax professional. But think about that, $2,800 a month. What can you buy in a piece of property? I'm going to just suggest probably somewhere in the $300,000 to $500,000 range. $300,000 to $500,000, and that's with less money to buy that than the down payment for a lease. Think about that. And at the end of 5 years, based on that 5.4% national number that we were using going backwards, again, you can't look forward. We don't know exactly what that's going to be. But you're looking at $27,000 in appreciation per year on a $500,000 property. So over the same 5 years, you're looking at $135,000 potential, again, just an illustration, $135,000 potential appreciation versus $120,000 lost. $250,000 swing right there by buying a home as opposed to renting. If you've been in a property for those last 9 years, as the numbers have suggested, do you think it's maybe time to move on with your life? The cost of a home is determined by two major components, the price of the home and the current mortgage rate. I'm going to suggest the price of the home is definitely going up. There's not very many areas that we see in the country, especially in Southern California, where prices are going down. And interest rates, they've been hovering right around the same area now for most of this year. They're going to go up at some point in time. I don't know when. But historically, when I looked at the numbers just recently, an APOR average going back, I think it was about 40 years, was at 5.59%, I believe, somewhere right around there. Call it, 5.5%, 6% interest is the long-term interest rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. Again, APOR. I don't know I'm just using government statistics, so it's illustration. That's why I'm not giving you APRs, but APR is part of an APOR. But think about that. That's almost 70% higher than we are today. So if both are going up, don't you think now would be the time to consider as the right time? Now, I would suggest, again, always always, always use a professional when buying a home. There's a lot that goes into buying a home. You need an expert to guide you along what's going on in the community. Are you doing all that research yourself? Are you reading those natural hazard disclosures properly? Are you getting a home inspection? Do you know a home inspector that can even help you? Who's negotiating? Are you skilled in it? Are you doing it all the time? I would suggest that you're probably not as experienced as a great real estate professional, especially one that I would introduce you to. Again, full disclosure, I have a real estate license. I do not use it. I refer people to great professionals in your area. Use a professional. The amount of money, the cost of the realtor is already built in. And it's already built in regardless of whether you use the agent whose sign is out front or if you get somebody to actually work on your behalf. There is a big difference using somebody that's working on your behalf as opposed to somebody who's got the sign in the front yard. How can somebody really be dedicated or acting in the absolute, complete best interest of two different parties? Now, there's some great agents out there, and I know there are some agents that do it, and they do straddle that line. But I'm going to suggest you got to really know who they are if you're going to do it. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, let's not do that. We're going to talk about Americans aged 45 to 54 have highest credit card debts. Americans 45 to 54 have the highest credit card debt. We're going to continue our conversation. I'm going to even give you a copy of our guide, Things to Consider When Buying a Home, summer of 2016. We just released that. I'll tell you about that when we come back as well. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. You can reach us anytime, our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, we are on YouTube. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM will significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel lending team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. Americans aged 45 to 54. They're the ones with the highest amount of debt, 45 to 54. Highest credit card debts out there is in this age group. Young people are often criticized for their reckless spending and lack of savings. The 45 to 54-year-olds are the ones. That's data from Value Penguin. They're the ones that are showing that middle-aged Americans typically have the highest credit card debt of all age groups. Average individual owing over $9,000. This puts the age group over $3,000 more in debt than the average millennial. Think about that concept. So it is our, and it does stand to reason, just kind of to throw that out there, is when we look at that for radio, when we look at that for different demographic groups, that is the group that they basically referred to in radio and television. They call them the money demographic. Combination of reasons, and it may be a little bit skewed as well. I'm going to suggest that in some instances, it might be timing as to when the data was collected. These individuals are the ones that are out there. They've got a little more responsibility. 45 to 45 to 54, they might be just on the cusp of business expenses. It could be some travel-related expenses, various different issues going on for them. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Again, check the top two buttons on the left are the ones that I like the most on CreditSanitizer.com. You've got the top left button. It's about $500 for a 12-month subscription to really work significantly on your credit. The button just to the right of that one is a monthly plan. But it's going to take you 4 to 6 months anyway. So either way, you're not looking at a significant difference in pricing. Just a matter of what you want. The middle button gives you LifeLock and a number of other services as well. You can check your credit whenever you want, all those good things. CreditSanitizer.com. So we've been chatting today, buying a home in the summer of 2016, things to consider. It is a new guide that we just released the first of the month. You can get your copy, MBE Links, M like Mary, B like boy, E like Edward, Links, plural, LINKS.com/HBG, Harry Boy George. Just go there and you can get a copy of the guide. It's 22 pages, giving you a whole bunch of items to think about when you're buying a home. We were talking before the break, though, about using a professional and the fact that using a professional does not cost anything. They do get paid. Yes, I share with you all the time. There is no free lunch. But using the professional does not cost. And here's why I say using the professional does not cost you money. There's going to be a commission built in regardless, 5%, 6%, something along those lines. The commission is built into the listing. When you go to the listing agent, he then becomes a dual agent, so he gets both sides of it. It's not like they cut one of the sides out. In that instance, use your own agent. I'll put you in touch with 1-800-306-1990. The flip side of that is you're going to get all of the professional guidance. You're going to get somebody that's going to help you, and there's a commission built in anyway. Now, again, from the homeowner standpoint, you're going to get more money when you use the agent, but everybody's safer. I just don't like the risk of going and trying to buy what's probably your largest asset, what's probably your largest liability, the mortgage. I don't like getting involved in that without having some professional guidance. I think that it's very, very important to have that professional guidance to work with you. And again, if it's not going to cost you anything, or it's already being paid either way, I suggest you're probably better off dealing with it, having it there, than trying to go it on your own. I'm going to also tell you that when you're buying that home, you're going to, in most instances, most people are going to need a mortgage. And I would suggest, again, give me a call, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with the right people. VIP Mortgage is our lender of choice right now. They've got the programs. They've got the products. I look at these people all the time to make sure that you are getting what you need. So my suggestion is get a hold of them. Get an application completed. You deal with all of that stuff first. Get pre-approved from them. They're going to do an income verification, a credit history, asset documentation. They're going to want to know where the down payment money is coming from. What do you have? Where do you have it? Stocks, bonds, retirement accounts. They're going to look at your credit report, make sure that that is in good condition. They're going to look at your income, make sure that you've got a stable amount of income. Then they're going to tell you what you are pre-approved for, how much money you can get pre-approved for to go out and shop for a loan. When you go and start shopping, the whole idea is to shop for what you can afford. Don't go looking at properties that are more expensive than what you can afford. That's just going to set you up for a defeat, set you up for failure. I'm going to suggest that I look at a lot of properties, and I don't think I've seen one yet where there is a $1 million property that is not nicer than a $300,000 property. And it's almost every market. There's very rarely, I've never seen it. Just like I've never seen a completely accurate credit report, I've never seen a $300,000 property that's nicer than a $1 million property. Now, there may be more potential in one than the other, but as they sit, the $1 million property is nicer. Now, if you can only afford a $300,000 property, that's great. That's the great place for you to be looking. But if you go and get disappointed, that $300,000 is not going to look good to you. And I want you to be excited about that property you buy. It's a great milestone. It's a great event. It's great for your family. Do it. But do it under control. That's why we talked yesterday that I am not a fan of the other talk host, and I think he's a great guy, but there's another talk radio host that says 15-year mortgage only, 25% of your income only. It doesn't work in our marketplace because you'd never buy a house. You'd be waiting you'd have to be earning $150,000 to buy a $300,000 house. That does not make sense to me. Get in the game. You get in the game, you buy the property, you buy a starter home. Maybe it's even something comparable to the apartment that you've been looking at. Not a big deal, not a problem. That's step one. Get some appreciation in there. It might take 3, 4, 5 years. Roll into it. Maybe you're going to roll into that student loan debt so you bring those payments down, and it helps your purchasing power for the next property. You go and you buy a step-up home. And what that ends up doing is that helps the economy as well as you, because that step-up home, and that's going to start appreciating. Now, the other one area that I want to get into real quick, and it's in the guide, again, text HBG to 79564. You can get a copy of the Home Buyer's Guide. HBG, Home Buyer's Guide to 79564. You can get a free copy of the guide. Don't listen to some of the malarkey about FICO scores and what is required for the FICO scores. You can get a home. Think about this. 54% of the home loans go to people with a FICO score of between 600 and 750. 54%. There's another 40%, 43% above that, but you don't need to be above that. Is it better for you? Yes. But being in the game is better than waiting until you've got a great FICO score. Get in the game. That'll help your score. I just have a young couple that her credit score was not great. She didn't have anything wrong with her credit. The problem was she didn't have any credit. So a year after buying a house, now she's got a great credit score, and we're looking at restructuring the home loan and going to bring her interest rate down simply because, number one, the team monitors this on a regular basis for the benefit of clients and of homeowners and families. But equally as important, we want to be able to give people a pathway to success, and that's what it's all about. Get in the game. That's where it all starts. And set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. Again, call me anytime if you have any questions or want to meet any of our guests. The number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.